All right, everybody. Look, I had something that I wanted to share with you this morning about prayer and the power of prayer. And the reason why scripture telling us that and has told us for many years that we can remember, pray without ceasing. And I think it's something that, let me get rid of that word think. I know and believe within my heart and soul, we need prayer. And I'm talking about ongoing prayer. And you don't have to be in a group of people, and it don't have to always be a long, drawn-out prayer. But we need to let God know the concerns in our hearts. I, myself, sometimes I'm not as studious as I should be. And I'll admit that. And that's with many of us because we get so tied up with life and what's going on around us. And we forget to just stop and spend time just talking to God about our concerns, about our hurts, about our pains, about things that weigh heavy on our hearts. And, this is how we're going to be strengthened, by talking to Him, because we can't work and operate out of our own strength. We need strength from Him. I love praying with others and praying for others and even praying for myself, but it's something that I believe I've heard the term so many times, to get back to the basic. This here, praying, is one of the necessary things that we must do. Letting our request be known unto God. We got to let Him know there are some situations going on in family units. People have sick people in their families. People have troubled children in their families. There's disruption in family units, and it's chaotic. And some things is just that the families aren't doing pretty good and not really facing any crisis right now. But you still can't stop praying just because you're on the mountaintop. You got to pray when you're on the mountaintop, just like you pray when you're down in the valley. You have to, and you have to be honest and admit to yourself, because all of us are guilty of this. We lack in the area of prayer because we are increasing in the things that we should decrease in, and we're decreasing in what we should be increasing in. And so when troubles come, they hit us like we're on the Titanic, and it can take you down to ground zero if you're not careful. Because when crisis come, see, you got to pray before that crisis come. Because when crisis come, you're scrambling. You got to stay ahead in your prayer life. It's so very important. And God already knows. But you have to admit to yourself, I'm not doing everything that I can do in my prayer life. I'm not spending time with God like I should be spending time with God. See, we want to say all these pretty prayers. Sometimes I'm telling you, man, you got to lay down on the floor and talk to God. Because sometimes you can get so low, you can get so burdened that you got to look up just to try to see your feet. You're trying to look up to see your feet because the life troubles have taken you down so far. And no, everybody is not at the same point in their prayer lives. But we all have a right to go before God. And not just when things are good or bad or disruptive, but even when the things are going right. Seem like everything that you touch turns to gold. You still got to keep Him out front. And you know what has hurt so many of us? Because we're so judgmental. We're judgmental about the way that people pray. We're always on somebody telling them how they praying and what's not right, and you don't do it this way and you don't do it that. Look here. Stop doing that to people. When you pray, people just having a conversation with God, and they're talking to God from the depths of their hearts and their soul, and they doing what they know to do. To be honest, many people today ain't praying like grandma and them used to pray. Many today. Because, see, one thing about us having more now than they had, the stuff began to get in front of God. And if you honest with yourself, you know that's what's happening. You know that's what done happened. We complain about young people not praying. But do they ever see you praying? Do the young people around you know grandma a prayer? No, mama prays. Grandpa, he be praying. Daddy be praying. They don't see that. So you live by example. You operate out of the environment that you are in. And see what happens, because I'm telling you, Scripture not only says pray without ceasing, it also says counsel not with the ungodly. Now you flip that, and this is what is happening. People, and a lot of young people, not all of them, but a lot of young people, they're counseling. They're looking for counsel with the ungodly, with people that, some people don't even believe in God. Some people are that's far from their thought. Some people are just operating out of materialism and stuff, and what the feel-good stuff. And if the stuff stops feeling good, they're not operating at all. They down and don't know which way to go. You got to talk to God. You got to talk to these young people and let them know the scripture that's in that Bible is real. And we all communicate differently with God. But let them know the importance of it, because I myself, like many of you, we're not going to be here forever. One day, our number going to be pulled. And God's going to say, it's time up. But what have you taught them to let them know to keep going? When troubles arise, don't give up. Teach them how to go to God. Because all of the flashy stuff, sooner or later, that's going to die down. Some of the people that you surrounded by now, they're not going to even have nothing to do with you. And because people's circumstances in life change. See, everything is not about the good thing. You know, the good times. Because as sure as you on that mountaintop, as sure as you riding that golden horse, trouble's going to come. I don't care how big you get, troubles are going to come. Because even scriptures say trials and tribulations going to be with you always. Okay, so, and then that's why you're not supposed to be counseling with the ungodly. You need to counsel with some people. You need to talk to some people that can give you a testimony on where God brought them from. You ain't always been where you are. The reason why you are where you are is because you had some people that was praying for you and praying with you and standing in the gap, sending up prayers when you was out there doing your thing and wasn't even worried about God. And they were still praying for you. We almost act like we scared to talk about prayer. And then not only did he say, don't counsel with the ungodly, he also said, don't sit in the seat of the scornful. We are doing everything that he told us not to do. And then we got nerve enough to criticize the younger people. Are you an example? Are you an example? And it does not make an excuse. There is no excuse. Because we only live and have our being because of him. He holds our next breath. See, you might not think that young people are listening, but they are listening to you and they are watching you. And a lot of us, our actions don't match up with what we saying. Our actions don't look like what we selling. But I'm going to tell you, there's going to come a time when what you fail to do is going to hit you in the face like a boomerang. Because if you fail to pray, you're not going to know how and who can get you out of the emotional state, the spiritual state that you're in, the mental state. This being prayerful and praying for other people and praying over yourself. I pray over myself. I pray for other people. That God, throughout this country, that God would show us to stop just talking and putting ourselves up on this high level and keeping everybody else at the mediocre level because we think we just so much because we got it together because you know how we do. Because I got somebody else don't have. God don't care nothing about your stuff. He owns your stuff. But he does look at how we treat one another. He does look at the heart of man. Strengthen your prayer life. Somebody is too weak to even pray. I've been in that. I've been at that point. Just like I was just too down to pray. I've been there. Like the world was on my shoulder. I've been there. And many of you have too. But see, there were some people praying for me when I wasn't even praying for myself. But when I got back to my right mind, I knew. Electra, you can't afford to not talk to God. You can't afford to get too far from God. See, sometimes people get tired of you just talking about that God stuff. I get tired of that God stuff. But you know what? When troubles come, you better have some people around you that know God. Because it's sure, as we sitting in another day, don't you know trouble's gonna come. You're not gonna always be at the best or your best. Cause life alone will throw you a curveball and you will wonder where that come from. But there'll be some days when you're gonna feel like the world is on top of you. But then down the road, as God hears your prayers and the prayers of the righteous that avail it much, you will begin to feel like you on top of the world. Keep that thought in mind. Stay with God. Pray. Talk to God. And not just for others. Pray over yourself. Okay? Y'all have a wonderful Friday. I just wanted to leave that with you. And hopefully, it inspires you to keep going. All right? Love you. Bye-bye.